Ki dekat jong Liang Pyrshah apa yang dor ba thok a jong ka jala mata ka sngi ka khat khandai tarik unai dor arja arpulai kila ther ting ya ka jing trekam ba ka jing le tam jong ki Pulit ka bidei ba ka jing jah apa Thangskai ka belajar ka arp sau tarik jong unai dor ba komjuru king ja ka belajar ka sau tarik mata ubnai ka bidei ba ka jing hi jong ka sang hitu ya kini kamat lawan ra do MLA jong ka molai ubak Prestone marbanyang ubal ra lamba ka special mission ha ka ba ulak kendo ba ki Pulit kila pendengam palat ya ka bor ki jongki ya ki ba ki boleh ki Pyrshah ban Pyrshah ya ka public hearing ka bla pelong da ka Malaysia State Pollution Control Board na ka mataman penhe ya ka jentrekam jong ka Malaysia Cement Limited uba mar banyang ha basot niki kendon ki ba pher jong ka jentrekam jong ki Pulit ba komjuru jong ka rai jong ka ying bisar ulong ba ki Pulit akatai ka sngi kem shimla khen ya ki khlong ki khana ne ki kenthai ne ki la bom ya ki na phang ulapan pau ka jong songlungo ba komdu ki Pulit ki akarteng ba ki mensa hadu khandai ngot haba kila phong di tiar jeng da ki ba bit ki ba biang bha na du kli adu kejat kat ba ki pat ba pat ki ba meni ai na kaliang jing Pulit kamchen ba pau ba ki don ki ba mensau na kaliang jong ba bride ulat dawa ba ka sarkar ka di ban pensyai kanungot ki Pulit la penstam bar khamtam la penstam ne em ki nong trei jong ka MCL ki bla kan shot ki bla kan shet ki Pulit ban bom mati ki pat ba akan di jing yata ile sementaru da ba Charles pengrop ubolong MLA jong ka nong thamai ubala penkan mau bakat kum ka an jong ka parlimen ka sam ar khat lai la kedau ba kidu ki ba syak bom ki ba syati ki ba mesau ha ke jing public hearing ki ba kum kini depan penhe ya ki jing trikam ki yo ya ka bai luksan na ka sarkar uba adan bila basai moit MLA jong ka nongkrem ha ba kersan ya ka special motion ula sot ki ba bun teli ki jing trikam ki kendon trikam jong ka police court bat ula ongru ba ka Jingleh jong ki Pulit ka belajar po Thangskai ka dei ka bamla setiaban pedang ula kedauru ia ka Jingleh tam jong ki Pulit ha ka bedi ba ka jing hi jong ka hitu ha ka bana kalang ki Pulit kila kawang da ustan grenade wada ka jaka bam jaka di jong ki pat ba ula penkan mauru ia ka inquiry commission ia ka report jong ka inquiry commission ha ka bedi banyi siasat yap jong ba syarish ha ka bakalang jong unang wisa ula kedau ia ka Jingleh tam ba ka jing penakam bakala ki Pulit ia ka bor ki jong ki bupat ki boleh sementah kan dikerjatai kilong uba Albert Norum MLA jong ka North Shillong ubana kalang jong uru da dawa ba ka sarkar ka di bana pensyai bha ban seneng man kra bha ki Pulit bagi di tip ila ka jong ka kamram kamtam ki kendon haba ki temla ni ki penjajai ya ka jing ki pai ba uba Prestone tesong ulang menteri rang ba sembut ba ka jong ka por uba pe jaga tat kampo yeng Ïada ting ya ka jing trekam jong ki Pulit ka boleh tu bah ka ka sengi na kaliang jong ki Pulit ba komjuru ki bor bepek ya ka district la patha bahaya ki kumno bantem ya ka jing ja ki bakom kini ka jong ka boleh tu ru bah ka sengi ba pelong ya ka public hearing na kaliang jong ki Pulit kila jit ka tu ka ngot ba kila patha ikin ngelam jong ki pai ba ki Pyrshah ya ka jing penyar jong ka Malaysia Cement Limited ba kini bandrong jaka ba public hearing ni ka banang slam ko po na kaliang jong ki pai ba ka nang buon bat kabara penong ki Pulit ban bom mati de la thi kalong hadin ba kila penjat penpra ya ka dara ka bersna da ka mataban pelong ya ka ni public hearing ka jong po na kaliang jong ba Prestone ru chimna ai ka jing sai ka ba sai la ka sarkar ka siuni em ka bai luksan na ka mata ki bala mansau wa chimna pensyai ru la ka sarkar ka penstam ne em ya ki nang trai jong ka MCL ki bala pensyet ya ki pai ba ka te ka sengi.
Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, I beg to move a special motion to discuss on the excessive use of force and police brutality during the public hearing of the Malaysia Cement Limited at Thangskai on the 24th of August 2023.
Motion moved. Now you may initiate the discussion.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. At the very outset, I would like to recognize the critical role of the police department in the society. They are the custodial of law and order, responsible for maintaining peace, ensuring safety and security, and upholding the principles of justice. But before I start, I would like to remind this August House as to why and what are the reasons for having a public hearing. Some of which are to open discussions about the issue at hand, to communicate and clarify the need to show their side of controversial issues, if any, to reopen public dialogue on issues that have fallen out of public mind, and to find solution to a community problem or issue. Public hearing are held to engage a wide audience in information sharing and discussion, and can be used to increase awareness of an issue or proposal, and can be a starting point for furthering public involvement. And for this very reason, public hearing was held at Thangskai on the 24th of August 2023 by the Meghalaya Cements Limited to hear and discuss the issue regarding expansion of cement plant by Meghalaya Cements Limited. But unfortunately, though the hearing was supposed to be a public hearing, however, public was...
I would like to draw your attention to the rules 279 and sub-rule 2. A private member may not read his speech, but may rephrase his memory by reference to notes. It seems that you are reading from your note. You may speak and you may use your note for referring the facts.
Okay, for this very reason, public hearing was held at Thangskai on the 24th of August 2023 by the Meghalaya Cement Limited to hear and discuss issues regarding expansion of power plant in this particular cement factory. As someone who represents Molai constituency, the issue at hand is very much apt and similar to what we have experienced in my constituency, Molai. So I can understand and I can feel the pain of the people of Thangskai and its surrounding villages. I would like to remind this August House that recently, not long ago, that is on the 13th of August 2021, what have happened in Molai should not have happened. It is a very unfortunate what happened in Molai, where the family members of one of our very own in Molai, where his life have been cut short by the excessive use of force and police brutality, where in fact after this incident an inquiry commission was constituted under the chairmanship of T. Vaipai, the retired Chief Justice of Tripura, where within his report Mr. Vaipai had clearly stated, where he said, "My finding is that the tactical team 1 is carrying out the operation to arrest the deceased was culpable of thoughtless and excessive use of force." This is what happened in Molai. But then, throughout the years, after the incident what happened in Molai, we found that many incidents had happened in the state, and more recently in the cement plant at Thangskai. What I would like to bring before the House is the excessive use of force and police brutality time and again, which we have witnessed as people of this state. And therefore, when we look at what happened in Thangskai, based on the above happening, the people of Thangskai and nearby villages decided to stage a protest, a peaceful protest where they want to express their desire to be part of the so-called public hearing, which was conducted at this particular day. However, while these people were trying to find their way into the venue, they were stopped by the police, who even used brute force by way of lathi charge, tear gas, and even used stun grenade. And what is more disturbing, what is happening on this particular day, is the way that women protesters are not spared from the excessive use of force and brutality by male police officer, let alone men protesters. It is a shame to witness such atrocities being committed against our very own. Let me remind us that peaceful protest is our fundamental right, which our Constitution has given us this right and was recognized as the most efficient and justified tool for showing disagreement, and our Constitution has rendered the freedom of opinion and expression to its citizens under Article 19 of our Constitution. Let me quote Article 19. Protection of certain rights regarding freedom of speech. Under subsection 1, all citizens shall have the right, under subsection A, to freedom of speech and expression, to assemble peacefully and without arms, to form associations or unions, and to move. These are the three provisions which guarantees each and every citizens of the states to exercise their right to freedom of speech and expression, to assemble peacefully without arms, and to form associations. However, on this fateful day, this very right that has been enshrined in our Constitution has been taken away by the district administration, even to the extreme where they use brute force, resulting in many injuries. Going by the media report and through the news report and through social media, what we have witnessed and what we have seen is the excessive use of force by the police on these peaceful protesters, and more so women protesters. It reminds me of the Criminal Procedure Code under Section 46 and Section 51 of the CRPC. When you look at these provisions, these sections, that is Section 46 and Section 51, where it talks about how arrests should be made and search of arrested person. Here we talk about an accused who was supposed to be arrested or where search of arrested person is to be made. And specifically under subsection 1, I would like to state, it says that the police officer shall not touch the person of the woman for making her arrest. And in section 51, subsection 2, specifically it states that whenever it is necessary to cause a female to be searched, the search shall be made by another female with strict regards to decency. But unfortunately, in this, on the 24th of August 2023, even women protesters are not being spared. As we can see through social media videos, that peaceful protesters and women have been lathi charged by the police department. This reminds me of whether we are still living under the colonial rule, where brute force are being used by the colonial masters against our people during that time. But unfortunately, even today, our very own government are being mistreated. They are mistreated our people by using brute force even while exercising their fundamental rights. I would also like to draw this house to the Supreme Court judgment, Supreme Court judgment in Anita Thakur versus the government of Jammu and Kashmir, in its judgment on the point 14, where it says, when we examine the present matter in the aforesaid conspectus, we find that initially it was the petitioners, protesters who took the law into their hands by turning their peaceful agitation into a violent one, and in the process becoming unruly and pelting stones at the police. On the other hand, even the police personnel continued the use of force beyond limits after they had controlled the mob. In the process, they continued their lathi charge. They continued to beat up all the petitioners even after overpowering them. They had virtually apprehended these petitioners, making them immobile. However, their attack on these petitioners continued even thereafter when it was not at all needed. And finally, when you look at this Supreme Court judgment, the Honorable Supreme Court held the state responsible even when these protesters had turned violent. And going by what happened in this fateful day of 24th of August 2023, I stand here to condemn the brute force used by the police department, and I feel that the victim who had suffered injuries should be compensated. And it is ironic when I look at the newspaper report, where from the district administration and the police, they stated that 9 police personnel had suffered injuries, without mentioning how many civilians had injured. But when you look at this newspaper clip, we can see that many of the civilians had been injured. I don't know how the police, coming fully prepared from head to toe, still suffered injury 9 numbers. Therefore, I rise to condemn the brutal act made by the police department, and will also request the state to compensate the victim in this public hearing. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the disruption of the recent public hearing at the factory premises of Meghalaya Cement Limited at Thangskai, which manufactures Topsem brand of cement, is not the first time public protest and violence has marred legal proceeding to consider the expansion plan of cement factories in East Jingleh. In what we saw from raw footage released by electronic press on social media, it was like a repeat of the public hearing held around 3 years ago at Clearyat for expansion of limestone mining by Star Cement which also saw similar protests from NGOs and public. But while the violent clash with police in November 2020 caused the presiding officer to adjourn the public hearing at Cleariat, it was not the same on 24th August this year, as the public hearing at Thangskai went ahead with quick change in venue from open playground to a gated indoor auditorium, where only the supporters of the expansion plan of TOPSEM were allowed inside and protester denied entry. So, the questionable action of the presiding officer, Gautam Warji, MCS, in going ahead with the public hearing at Thangskai, in spite of being aware of the untoward situation that took place, goes against the norms laid down in the EIA, notification of Ministry of Environment and Forests, Government of India, mandating the procedure of public consultation to be arranged in a transparent manner and ensuring widest possible public participation. Sir, as for the police officers and personnel who engage with protesters in an aggressive and provocative manner, leading to crowd violence and abuse of power by policemen in uniform, it was a day of shame on Meghalaya. In the past few years, a number of upright police officers have worked hard to earn the esteem of the general public. But just like that, the uncouth behavior of a few rotten apples have brought bad name to the state police force of Meghalaya. Sir, what was the need for DSP Jason Myram to raise a hand on an adolescent protester half his size? What is the need? What threat did additional SP Banraplang Jerwa perceive when he assaulted an unarmed protester already circled by riot policemen? At what training were personnel taught to wield lathi on a defenseless woman? This is a shame for the policeman of state Meghalaya. But the biggest shame is hearing SP Jakpal Singh Bhana say on camera, "Mar de, khatam kar de in sale ko." Let the Honorable Minister translate into action. I have a video clip of his hate expletive, but I'm not going to translate because on its own it speaks volumes about the attitude of this person who is unbecoming of an IPS officer. Sir, we do not forget that the very same SP Cleariat, I may reiterate the same because it is a serious matter. It is the very same SP Cleariat who led a reckless and poorly executed operation at Maulai in the dead of the night in the same month of August 2 years ago that resulted in the killing of Chesterfield. Thank you. The report of retired Justice T. Baipai Inquiry Commission is clear about it. All happened. I don't have to say more. Sir, and I'm going to skip the connection between the killing by excessive use of force and the investigation by Cleariat police into an IED blast at the factory of Star Cement in East Giantales because of time constraint. The police action by SP Cleariat and his team when engaging with protesters at Thangskai on 24th August this year therefore need to be scrutinized from a different perspective, that it was success, whether planned or not, because it successfully managed to keep the dissenters of the expansion plan of TOPSEM Cement at bay, even as the public hearing was being held. and that it also brought into question the neutrality of East Gentiles police when having to deal with business interests of cement factories in the district. Again, I'm not just casting aspersion. Video evidence is on YouTube. So before I conclude, the high-handedness of police has become more visible and more pronounced this year after the Thangskai incident. Just look at the police handling of the situation involving the protest march by members of NUTREP Integrated Territorial Organization after the Hito president was called by explanation at Sadar Police Shillong. These are not healthy signs at all of a disciplined police force that is tasked with responsibility of maintaining law and order. Meghalaya Police must take stock of the situation and ask itself if it really wants to be a draconian force, because the people of the state, starting with me, we will not allow. Sir, with these very few words, I extend my support to this motion and condemn the police atrocity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'll issue my seal.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, member.
So I also rise to support the special motion moved by Bryce Terwell Marvinang, an MLA from Molai, that this House will now discuss the excessive use of force and police brutality during the public hearing of the Meghalaya Cement Limited at Thangskai village on the 24/8/2023. Sir, as mentioned by the mover of this special motion, I would also like to share my serious concern of what has happened in our state in connection with the police brutality. So we have seen that policemen are getting emboldened to indulge in the atrocities due to the failure of the government to take action against those erring police personnel. So we fear that if this phenomenon is allowed to continue, Meghalaya would one day become a police state where there will be unrestrained use of force by the police. As has been mentioned by the mover, that police are supposed to maintain law and order and to protect the life of the citizens of the state. So the incidents that took place at Thangskai during the public hearing and at Shillong during the protest of the Hito on the 24th August and the 4th September respectively have truly revealed that police cannot handle even the slightest provocation. What was more disgusting, sir, was that the brutality was carried out at the behest of the industrialists who are outsiders. In a democratic country like us, no one, sir, is above the law. We have the judiciary to either condemn or justify any action committed by any person and deal with them according to the provisions of law. Therefore, sir, to cause injury to a person or group of persons is a violation of law on the different sections of Indian Penal Code and Code of Criminal Procedure. So, according to Section 29 of the Police Act 1861, the use of unwarranted personal violence against person, even in custody, is an punishable offense. So, Section 319, 320, 321, 322, and 324 of the Indian Penal Code spell out of hurt and punishment for voluntarily causing hurt, except in the case provided for by Section 334, which read that voluntarily causing hurt on provocation. Whoever voluntarily causing hurt on grief and sudden provocation, if he neither intends nor knows himself to be likely to cause hurt to any person other than the person who gave the provocation, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 1 month, or with a fine which may exceed to 500 rupees, or with both. So Section 132 of the Code of Criminal Procedure provides for the use of armed forces to disperse assembly. 1301, it says that if any such assembly cannot be otherwise dispersed, and if it is necessary for public security that it should be dispersed, the executive magistrate of the highest rank who is present may cause it to be dispersed by the armed forces. 2. Such magistrate may require any officer in command of any group of persons belonging to the armed forces to disperse the assembly with the help of the armed forces under the command, and to arrest and confine such persons forming part of it as the magistrate may direct, or as it may be necessary to arrest and confine in order to disperse the assembly or to have them punished according to the law. 1303. Every such officer of the armed forces shall obey such requisition in such manner as he thinks fit. But in so doing, let me repeat this line, sir, but in so doing, he shall use as little force and do as little injury to person and property as may be consistent with dispersing the assembly and arresting and detaining such person. So, after having seen the media reports and video clips of the incidents that took place in these 2 occasions, I am of the firm opinion, sir, that the police had indulged in atrocities and excesses. Many people who were attending the public hearing at Thangskai were beaten black and blue by the police, including the women. The manner in which the state police behave suggests, sir, that they were being bribed by the owner of the plan to ensure that there will be no opposition to the hearing. The throwing of stunned grenade at a food stall during the protest at Shillong was also another act of excesses by the police. So the question here is, who will be responsible for the harm and injury that may have caused to the innocent who happen to be around that area? Who will bear the medical expenses to those who may have suffered heart attack because of this responsible act of the police? Therefore, sir, in most of the cases, policemen were seen as lawbreakers, perpetrators of the crime, and culprits. We should remember that whatever had gone into the minds of the people as a result of their action cannot be easily and quickly washed away from their memories. So I would also like to know what action has been taken against the police officer who shouted with slang on that day. It is an accepted fact, sir, that in a community, a tribal community, especially among the Khasis, we cannot even tolerate for a common man to use slang in public places. How much more, therefore, sir, it would be for a person in uniform. This is nothing, sir, but a complete disregard of the law. Sir, our memory is still very fresh to recollect what happened in Maulai, as had been mentioned by the Honorable representing Maulai constituency, when the police at the Wee-Or decided to kill an ailing person in cold blood. Since when that Meghalaya police have got the license to shoot at will on anyone, sir? Even the report of the inquiry commission constituted by the state government, sir, had taken a very strong exception to this. So I just want to read out some of the observations of this inquiry, sir, in which in page 24, sir, it said that in my considered view, the operation was a well-laid plan, but executed poorly, recklessly, hastily, and without proper application of mind. In other words, it was a botched-up operation and failing in its objective of apprehending the deceased alive, who could have given valuable information to the police about the subversive activities of the proscribed HNLC outfit. The fact that by undertaking such reckless operation, the team completely lost sight of the possibility of harming the family members of the deceased, who were never accused of having anything to do with the nefarious activities of the deceased he was charged of. If the primary objective of carrying out the operation was to capture the deceased alive, the manner in which the raid was conducted unnecessarily gave rise to the impression that was not so. This is most unfortunate. So, moreover, the report says that I do not propose to burden this report with such contentious in view of my above findings. For example, I do not propose to discuss the other evidence available on record to determine as to whether witness number 4 mowed down the deceased intentionally or in self-defense, since the material I could derive from the statement of the 3 state witnesses are sufficient for me to arrive at my above findings about the culpability of the tactical team 1 in the manner in which they carried out the operation. The remaining issues are best left to the judicial criminal court to decide. Therefore, sir, based on this report, it implies that the police who conducted that raid at Maulai are culpable of homicide, sir. Sir, therefore, in the light of the above mentioned facts, sir, I would strongly urge upon the government to take strong action against all those police personnel who are involved in these 2 separate incidents, sir. With these few words, sir, I resume my seat.
Thank you, Abba.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. I also rise to support the special motion tabled by the Honorable Emily from Maulai, Bright Star Well, Malbanian, on the incident that happened at Thangskai village on the 24th of August 2023. Sir, any incident that takes place and that causes harm to the people, citizens of the state, is deplorable and needs to be condemned. But in the year 2013, a bill was placed in Parliament and subsequently became an act which is called the Right to Fair Compensation and Transparency in Land Acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act 2013, or in short, it was the RFCT-LARR Act 2013. This act, there were powers given to the government to enable purchase of land, transfer of land, or any other activities that would need a public hearing to be set up. So before this happens, normally you have a social impact assessment study conducted, which will assess whether the proposed expansion in this case or the proposed acquisition will have a direct impact on the people living in around the vicinity of that area. And then also a social impact management plan has to be set in place. What does this mean, sir? It means that the study will tell you that the proposed expansion or acquisition will or will not have an adverse effect on the population of the vicinity. And the rule is the villages surrounding that area to a certain radius, the people are called and we have a public hearing. So, anticipating all this, I feel the district administration should have had prior knowledge that there will be residents within the radius of that cement company, plant, who will voice their opinion. And in most cases, everybody wants to have their own opinion. Therefore, the police or the district administration in this case should have been more informed about what would happen if such a public hearing took place. Therefore, in my mind, this public hearing should have first been stopped and the planned acquisition should have been discussed further through the agency of the government which does the social impact assessment. Then we wouldn't have had this scenario where innocent people who had gone to voice their opinion were brutally assaulted by the police as per the reports that appeared in the papers. So therefore, what my honorable colleague has submitted warrants a further inquiry into why this was allowed to happen. So therefore, sir, with these few words, I support the motion and I request the government to kindly in future assess the situation so that such a thing doesn't happen again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, sir, at the outset, I am very thankful to the Honourable MLA from Maulai who has brought this motion and the contents of this motion. This House to now discuss the excessive use of force and police brutality during the public hearing of the Meghalaya Cements Limited at Thangskai village on the 24/8/2023. And also the honourable members who participated in this special motion, Honourable MLA Mr. Charles Pongro, Honourable MLA Mr. Aden Basau Moit, Honourable MLA Mr. Adelbert Nongrum, and Honourable MLA Dr. Mukul Sangma. Sir, in fact, the main text of the motion talks about the incident that has happened during the public hearing of the Meghalaya Cement Limited Thangskai on the 24/8/2023. However, during the submissions, discussions, the honourable members brought in and raised other issues relating to the functioning of the home police in the state of Meghalaya. Well, whatever points raised, I have already noted down. And back to the original text of this special motion, sir. At the outset, I take this opportunity to thank the honourable mover as well as the members who participated in this special motion. Sir, I stand before this August House today to provide a comprehensive account of the events that transpired during a public hearing held on the 24th of August 2023 at the premises of Meghalaya Cements Limited Thangskai, East Jainti Hills District. This public hearing was convened by the Meghalaya State Pollution Control Board to discuss the proposed expansion of production capacity by Meghalaya Cement Limited. Sir, in preparation for the public hearing on the 24th of August 2023, Meticulous law and order arrangements were made, and a detailed operational plan was also issued by the Office of SP East Jingleh Hills. The officers and personnel involved were given explicit instructions to ensure a peaceful environment throughout the proceedings. They were directed to maintain courtesy and professionalism when interacting with the public and to exercise the use of force only when explicitly instructed. Sir, on the morning of the public hearing, 78 police personnel were briefed about the event at Top Cement before they deployed to the site. They were well informed about their mandate, which primarily centered on maintaining law and order. Mr. Speaker, sir, the police team arrived at the public hearing site promptly at... yes, sir.
The Deputy Speaker, Chief Minister, please, you may take your seat. It is now 2 o'clock. In exercise of Rule 11 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business, I will extend the sitting of the House till 3 p.m. Deputy Chief Minister, you may continue, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, the police team arrived at the public hearing site promptly at 6:20 a.m., well in advance of the proceeding, to assume responsibility for maintaining law and order. Sir, initially a group of approximately 30 individuals from Thangskai village, including women and children, gathered and sat at the main entrance of the cement plant, effectively blocking the entry of vehicles and individuals into the plant. However, despite the request from the police of East Jingleh Hills to send only few members from their group to attend the public hearing, to registering their protest formally, however, the number of individuals started increasing gradually. Soon after, the villagers from Sheikh Rupi, Wayajer, and adjoining villages under Narpo Ilaka also assembled, bringing the total to around 150. Unfortunately, despite best efforts from the police department, the blockade persisted, impeding the flow of traffic. Sir, at approximately 10:55 a.m., the public hearing commenced peacefully as scheduled. However, at 11:10 a.m., the mob at the Top Sem gate, incited by one person and several other unknown individuals, breached the premises of Top Sem Cement. The police team then immediately intervened, attempting to prevent the situation from escalating. Regrettably, the mob employed a tactic that made the use of reasonable force exceedingly difficult. They used children and women as shields. This tactic prevented the police from taking decisive action to contain the crowd. Mr. Speaker, sir, the situation further deteriorated as the mob resorted to various means to gain access to their hearing venue, including scaling the boundary walls of Top Sem. Sir, by 12 noon, the public hearing venue was completely vandalized, at which point it became evident that the situation required immediate intervention to prevent further damage and potential harm to individuals present. The police made repeated efforts to pacify the crowd and convince them to refrain from taking the law into their own hands. However, attempts to de-escalate the situation met the limited success. Sir, at around 12:30 p.m., in consultation with the officials present, a decision was made to relocate the public hearing to the community hall within the premises. The mob there was informed of this decision, and after negotiations, they agreed to march peacefully and protest near the new venue. Sir, at around 1:30 p.m., despite multiple attempts to maintain order, the situation took a violent turn. The mob began to exhibit aggressive behavior, attacking police personnel with bamboo sticks, rods and stones. The police continued to issue warning urging them to disperse peacefully, but the crowd persisted in their attempts to gain forced entry into the second venue of the hearing, with apparent intentions to cause harm to life and property. Mr. Speaker, sir, given the gravity of the situation at the rest, it posed to public safety, the police had no option but to use reasonable force to contain the violent mob. During this process, 11 police personnel sustained injuries on the person in the line of duty, but was successfully dispersing the violent mob by 3:15 p.m. Sir, in the aftermath of these events, a case was registered at Lum Snong Police Station, by Lum Snong PS case number 45 in bracket 08-2023 under section 143/144/145/148/152 Indian Penal Code against the instigators and other unknown persons. Legal proceedings are now underway. Sir, I must emphasize that as of now, there have been no complaints from individuals who suffered injuries during the incident. It is crucial to recognize the complexities and challenges faced by law enforcement personnel when dealing with situations where the safety of innocent civilians, including women and children, is paramount. We are unwavering in our commitment to uphold the rule of law, and we remain dedicated to ensuring that those responsible for instigating violence are brought to justice. Sir, in addition, let me just go back to the last term, the last government, 2018, when our Honorable President Chief Minister Shri Conrad Sangma took over as Chief Minister in 2018. I think we must have seen the accommodative attitude of the government towards any issues, be it NGOs, be it individuals, be it any stakeholders. The door in the secretariat is always open at that point of time. And again, we continue our commitment even this term with effect from the month of March till today, and we will continue to do so. It seems, sir, it seems, if we are too accommodative, people take advantage also. Occasionally they say this government is spineless. In fact, we have seen so many instances. But you know, when few cases happen, like be it in Tura, like be it in this police sada, main police sada, then again at Clarion. You know, ultimately it came out in the limelight unnecessarily. Sir, let me assure the members of this August House, we are here, number one, to make sure our people, the citizens of the state, is fully secure, fully safe, and also justice prevails up to the stage of individual. We are here for that, sir. Well, the senior-most member, Dr. Mukul Sangma, he mentioned about the incident that has happened in Turan on the 24th July 2023. I would like to inform the honorable members of this August House, our Honorable Chief Minister, in fact, he already committed meeting with these people in one place. But again, some changes made because they request that the meeting should be held in CM's office. Then ultimately CM, he proceeded to the meeting place. And what happened was, during the meeting, when the meeting was held, it seems pre-planned group, unknown miscreants, wanted to create law and order outside the place of meeting. And we understand, therefore, if these people are having good intention, why not they wait till the meeting is over? Why should create problem? When the meeting is on, the discussion is on between the Chief Minister of the state and the groups, why not you wait the result of that meeting? But sir, as I've already said, a pre-plan, you don't know. I don't know, Honorable Member Dr. Mukul Samai said, I never heard in the history of Meghalaya that any group of person or any person trying to attack or to maybe to kill even the Chief Minister. Let me just tell you one thing. Sir, that's why we do have even a security commission. Then again, from the police side, we have to assess every now and then about the security of each and every members of this August House, because we don't know. Therefore, we are reviewing each and every now and then to exactly know the security, the safety, not only the Chief Minister, but all the honorable members of this August House. So, sir, as far as this issue is concerned, my clarification is only let us wait till the process is completed. Whether the police book them under this act or on that act, let the process be completed. And then the truth will come out by the process. It will come out by the process itself. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to therefore request the honourable members in this August House, let us work together. I think we don't want to harm anybody. We don't want to create unsafety, insecurity to anyone in the state of Meghalaya. We are here, as I've said to you, to protect and also to make sure that we are all safe and we are all secure wherever we are in the state of Meghalaya. Mr. Speaker, sir, and then another one point raised by the honourable member Adelbart Nongrum, relating he referred to one statement in the social media where he said that the SP he talked in Hindi, blah blah blah. Please, I would like to request, I think this portion has to be expunged, because see, you cannot just allege any person without evidence, because I am very sure there was no such statement. But if it is there, sir, produce it. Otherwise, we need to expunge the statement made by the honourable member, because see, this kind of thing, sir, I think honourable member will not mind when I say this. See, we have to correct. When we are inside the house, well, we talk, but at the same time, when you charge any officer or any person or any members in the house, it should be within the evidence, hard evidence that you have. Sir, then the honourable member, I think Charles Pramuk has already pointed out about the process of hearing as per the act, we call it the SEIA's State Impact Assessment, State Environment Impact Assessment, which is being done. So the issue from my side, from the police side, is only to clarify that particular incident that has happened on that fateful day, fateful afternoon. So, sir, I once again take this opportunity to thank the honourable member of this August House, Mr. Bright Starwell Marbanyang, MLA of Maulai constituency, for bringing in this motion, and those issues, especially they referred by Aden Basaumoid and then by Adelbert and then the mover himself. They referred about the case of shooting, the case of killing Mr. late Chiris Thankio. This I will not touch anything, because right now this particular case is lying with the Honourable High Court, sir. So with these few clarifications, sir, I resume my seat.
The mover of this motion seek to clarify or any other questions or any seek clarifications to the minister's reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. First of all, I would like to thank fellow members who have supported this motion, and I would also like to thank the Honourable Deputy Chief Minister in charge Home for clarifying whatever doubts that we have raised in the floor of the House. But then I would also rise to ask the state government, no matter what clarification, justification that has been made from the government, I will ask the state to take stern action against the erring police officer who did not exercise restraint but rather use excessive force and brutality on the innocent protesters, and to make sure that such events do not happen in the near future, and to restore faith in the people of the state. I would also ask the government to compensate the victims who have suffered injuries and mental harassment as a result of police brutality, whether in Maulai, in Thangskai, or in the recent protests led by Hito. Yes, the Deputy Chief Minister had mentioned that the case had been booked against those who resort to violence means during the public hearing. But I would also like to know whether the workers of these industries who had provoked the peaceful protesters as well as the police by using words which I feel it is not right to mention here in this August House, I would like to know from the Honourable Minister whether cases have been filed against these workers provoking during this fateful day. And finally, I would also like to ask the state government to deliver justice to whom it is rightfully due. Thank you. I will resume my seat.